Thanks for joining me for the practice shoulder mobility. If you watched the shoulder mobility tutorial, you are familiar with the sequences, alignment, and modifications. 2 yoga blocks would be very helpful. Please refer to the tutorial for modifications. The first practice, called Scapula Lift, can be done in a seated position with your legs straight out in front of you or kneeling. Decide which position you are going to use for Scapula Lift. Place your blocks under your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders stay aligned over your hips. Place your hands on your blocks. Inhale, press down into your hands and lift your hips off your mat. Keep your arms straight. Exhale and lower. Raise, lower, 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 raise, and lower down to your mat. Come to a seated position. The next practice you will do is Scapula Push-Up. Come into a push-up position with your shoulders aligned over your wrists. You can extend your legs straight back or come onto your knees. You can also come to a wall and place your hands on the wall at shoulder height. Push into your hands and keep your arms straight. You are going to move using only your shoulders. Push down and raise, lower, 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 and now release. Come down to all fours and set up for Scapula Lift. In Scapula Lift, you can start on all fours on your mat. You can also start on the wall. Bring your forearms down to your mat. Align your elbows under your shoulders. If you are on the wall, place your elbows at shoulder height. Once you are in one of the starting positions, interlace your fingers. Place the crown of your head on the mat or wall. If you are on all fours, you can keep your knees on your mat or tuck your toes. Lift your knees off your mat, straighten your legs, and walk your feet forward just a bit. If you are on the wall, you can walk your feet back a little bit. Inhale, push down into your forearms, raise, lower, 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 and come down onto your mat. for the next practice. The next practice is wall shoulder. Decide which starting position you want to use. Kneeling with your hands on the wall, shoulder width apart. Your hands should be placed slightly above shoulder height. Standing with your hands on the wall, shoulder width apart. Your hands should be placed slightly above shoulder height. Standing with your forearms on the wall, shoulder width apart. Your elbows should be placed slightly above shoulder height. Once you have set up in your starting position, we will start. If your hands are on the wall, make sure your index fingers are pointing straight up at 12 o'clock. If your forearms are on the wall, make sure your forearms are pointing straight up at 12 o'clock. Take your gaze down to the floor. Push your hands or forearms into the wall and let your chest descend. Rotate your shoulders externally. Not your hands, not your arms, just your shoulders. Keep letting your chest descend as you rotate your shoulders externally. Breathe. Keep letting your chest descend. Push into the wall. Rotate your shoulders externally. Keep your neck relaxed and your eyes soft. Release. Bring your head up, move towards the wall. Now you are going to set up for block shoulder. Decide which starting position you want to take. Kneeling with your elbows on one or two blocks. Standing with your elbows on the wall. If you are kneeling, place 2 blocks lengthwise on the second highest position with 2 to 3 inches between them. Place your elbows on the blocks at the end closest to you. If you use a single block, place your elbows on the block with 2 to 3 inches between your elbows. If you're on the wall, place your elbows on the wall slightly above shoulder height with 2 to 3 inches between your elbows. Once you have set your elbows, bring your head down between your arms. Look down and relax your neck. Take prayer hands above your head. If you are kneeling, make sure your knees are aligned under your hips. If you are standing, walk your feet back a little bit. Let your chest descend and breathe. Push your elbows away from you. Start to bring your prayer hands towards your upper back. Let your chest descend. Relax your neck. If you are kneeling, you can deepen the stretch by walking your knees back away from your elbows. If you are standing, you can deepen the stretch by walking your feet back away from the wall. Breathe and let gravity do its job. Breathe and deepen your stretch. Release. Come to a seated position. Congratulations! You've just completed the Shoulder Mobility Series. As you practice the Shoulder Mobility Series regularly, you will experience an increased range of motion in your shoulders. Most of us experience our shoulders hunching forward as we age. Sitting in chairs and car seats exacerbate this. Smartphones, keyboards, tablets, and driving all encourage your shoulders hunching forward. As you practice the Shoulder Mobility Series and start to open up, keep it in mind to draw your shoulders back, draw your upper arm bones back, open your chest, and align your shoulders over your hips when possible. Practice good posture, the healthy, aligned posture most of us were born with. You'll feel the difference. Thanks for joining the practice. Namaste.